So the question of the book, Amy, where is God in all the suffering?
Yeah.
So where is God?
Okay, so obviously I'm taking a whole book to answer that. I think I'd probably want to draw out two key things.
Yes.
One would be to say that even our rage, when we raise the question of suffering, so one of the stories I tell is standing at the foot of Grenfell Tower 2 days after the fire, and we're there with this community who are in grief, and Psalm 147 is read out. God is close to the brokenhearted. Next verse is read out. Next verse, verse 6, the wicked he will cast to the ground. Okay, during that Bible reading, the whole crowd erupt into applause. They start clapping the idea that there might be a God who will do something about the injustice of this world.
Yes.
Now, what worldview is able to account for that? Can evolution, the survival of the fittest, we're just here by chance, and you and I are just the stuff of our physical bodies? All you are is the biochemistry of your body. Does that idea account for why we feel as we do when children burn to death in a fire? I don't think it does. Does karma account for it? You get what you deserve in this life. So if somebody is burned in a fire, they did something to deserve it in this life or a previous life. I don't think that can account for how we experience suffering in the world. Only the idea that a loving God has made this world and he's created human beings in his image, the sacredness of human life, only that can account for how we feel about suffering, our cry for justice.
Yes.
So where is God in all the suffering? His image is on you, and it's on me, and it's on every person who's suffered. And that's why suffering hurts, and that's why it matters, because people matter. So that's the first thing I'd say. There's a sort of like an explanation that is in our DNA as to how we feel about suffering, because God is imprinted in us and on us, a loving God. And then secondly, where is God in our suffering? Well, actually, the Bible doesn't speak of a God who observes suffering and kind of empathizes with us and feels really sad for us from a distance. But God in Jesus willingly suffers himself. He takes sin and death and suffering into himself. So it is now an experience that God himself is prepared to go through. So at the cross, we see this beautiful portrait, a demonstration, the Bible says, is of the love of God, that is him suffering. So he's in it with us. And then, of course, there's a future hope too. But that's the beginning of the answer.
I know. I really hope that you have enjoyed this interview. Can I encourage you to hit subscribe so that you can get more of these interviews in the future?